Okay, let's see. We appreciate Keith, our IT guy, for getting us all hooked up again. So we'll go ahead and begin our meeting today, March 25th, 2019 County Commission meeting. And Commissioner Hadfield will offer our invocation, and then our County Clerk, Marley Young, will lead us in the pledge.
Our Father in heaven, we bow our heads before you this day and give thee thanks for the many blessings that we do receive. We're grateful for this land and the area that we live in. We're grateful for the moisture that we've received. And Father, please bless us that we might be able to use that to store up the water for our crops and for the things that we need this summer. Please bless us that we might be able to have the temperatures and things work in our favor, that we might be able to avoid the floods. And Father, we're grateful for those who serve us here in this county with our fire and our patrols, and those that look out for us. And please guard and protect them. Please bless our men and women who are in our armed services that protect our freedoms. Please bless them and keep them out of harm's way. Again, Father, we are grateful to live in this great county and to be amongst all the good people here. And we're thankful for this, and we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand and join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner and Marla. Appreciate that. Okay. Does gentlemen have a chance to review the minutes?
Quickly, but I'll make a motion we approve the minutes from March 6, 2019.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Any correspondence, anything that gentlemen need to go over? Any reports?
Do you want to just report on what
Yeah,
we
go
did
ahead.
last week?
Yeah, go ahead. You can start. I'll pick up whatever you didn't get.
I was able to go, well, both Commissioner Summers and I were able to go back to D.C. last week. He's on the NATO board, and I'm the chair for BRAG, for Bear River Association of Governments, and we were able to go back to the conference back there. Some really good information. One of the things that they discussed, it's obviously a national concern, is the opioid addiction problem and how to address that, and also some of the I guess reform for those coming out of the jail system, out of our prisons, and how do we integrate them back into normal society so that they can adapt and be able to succeed rather than falling back into those pits. And it was good information. I thought we were fortunate enough to be able to attend a funeral in Arlington Cemetery, and I'll let Commissioner Summers talk more about that. But it was a very profitable trip as far as being able to visit with some of the different aides to our representatives and senators. So.
I was hoping he'd talk about that because I'd probably start crying again. We were on the flight out, and you know me and my big mouth, and so I struck up a conversation with the older lady that was sitting in the aisle next to me, and I was helping her with her luggage and such, and kind of talked back and forth a little bit about why we were going back, and we were about ready to land, and the pilot came on the thing and said, if you guys can all stay set in your seats, we have somebody here that's bringing their loved one back to be buried in Arlington. And I just happened to look over, and I'm thinking, and I grabbed her hand and I said, is this you? And she started to cry and said yes. And it was a mess, to say the least, with everybody that was within walking distance of her. And so the whole plane, however many hundreds of us, sat there while she got up, and we helped her get her luggage off and we met her again down at the luggage, and she looked at me and Jeff, and she said, it'd be on my honor if you guys would give come Monday to Arlington and to the funeral. And I mean, what can you say about that? And we showed up and was about a part of about 15 or 20 people, I think. And to watch somebody that had given their entire life, he was 86 years old, was a fighter pilot, did 2 tours in Korea and 3 tours in Vietnam, and to listen to some of the people that were there that said that this man had saved his life, and for everything that he had done, it just brought back a ton of memories of people that are around us that give their all. So we might have learned a lot about opioid epidemics and how to work EDAs and RDAs and CDAs and things like that, and met our congressman, but that was the coolest thing I think I've been able to do while I've been a commissioner. So we appreciate the good men and women that give their entire lives to keep us free. And I think we had, I don't know how many taxi drivers and how many things from other countries. And every time me and Jeff would ask them something about America, they would look at us and say, you guys don't get it. You know, we take everything for granted. And I think being humble enough to go to that funeral and humble enough to see these people that have been from Ethiopia and Iran, and I mean, it was a humbling experience to know that we are in the greatest country in the world, and there's people that will give their all to keep us free. So I'm going to shut up now before I start crying.
Well said.
Appreciate that. Couple of things. Plug. I don't want to be in trouble with Barb down there at the sheriff's department. March 25th. That's today. So if you don't have dinner plans, from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock tonight, if you stop by the Texas Roadhouse there in South Ogden, it's the one there on Wall just before you hit Riverdale, I believe. It's the fundraiser for Deputy Bronson. And so a portion of the proceeds tonight will go to help his family. He had a liver transplant 14 days ago now, Dale. Just had a chance to go down and visit. What day were we down there? It all runs together. Was it Thursday? Yeah, it was Thursday. And they rank him on a scale of 0 to 40 to be on the transplant list. And when you hit 40, you're pretty much on death's doorstep if you don't get something that day. And he was at 38. And so he was pretty much at the top of the list and got the liver. And he was about 12 shades of green the last time I saw him. And then on Thursday when we were there, he looked much better and is starting to recover. So that was great. He's one of our own, and he wants to get back to work. We told him to listen to the doctor and listen to his wife, but man, he's itching to get back out and patrol and to be with his fellow deputies. That's what he loves. So keep him in your prayers as well. I think that's all I had. Anything else, guys? Okay.
May 10th's coming up. As if you didn't know, there's something a little bit about a sesquicentennial. About 25,000 people will be around Box Elder County. They're saying 500,000 people will be in northern Utah for the entire event. So just be ready to move and put your house up for sale I'm just kidding. Airbnb.
He'll be busy. So anyway, okay. Appreciate everybody in your work. So okay, we will start. We've got our 1135. It's the tax sale pending for parcel 31560049. You have any additional information? Anybody that wants to speak to that?
That's actually 031560049, which is Moss property.
Oh, that's the one. Okay.
Which one?
Okay, so that's kind of the same as our 1157.
I asked about the agenda, and they weren't sure.
So they put it on both the same? Okay.
Well, I think why the confusion, and that became clear this morning when we was talking, the 315649 is Moss LLC. The one down below is Point Perry, so it's 2 ownerships, and I'm assuming
The
Gotcha.
same? Okay.
that's why the confusion.
So you could move them together.
We'll move
Okay.
it, go to
We'll move those together. We'll take care of that shortly. So, okay, let's do the 1145. Mike, I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Givas? Does anybody? Jivas? Glad I asked. Okay. Are you Mike? If you'd like to come forward and you can visit with us, just please state your name for the record and then,
Just
Okay.
right here into the microphone, sit down and
Just right there.
pull the microphone up to you.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah, Mike Jeebus.
okay. Go ahead.
I was hoping to be able to pay like $3,000 toward the tax debt, but I was hoping it could be applied to the oldest year, so that would give me time to catch up the difference. Does that make sense? I called down, and they said that anything I pay would be applied to the most recent year, which makes the oldest year still overly delinquent. So I borrowed $3,000 from my mom. So if I pay that, then the rest of it could be, and that can go to the oldest, then that would give me some time to catch up the newest ones.
Yeah, and from what I understand, we do not have the ability to do that. I believe it's in state statute. Correct me if I'm wrong, but anything that we receive has to be applied to the oldest first.
Well, that's what I want, is the oldest.
I mean,
Most current.
to the most current, to the newest.
Oh,
And so, yeah, that's state statute that whatever payment is received goes to the current year
okay.
or the first delinquent year, and then anything subsequent would go to the last prior year. And so it always goes to the current. And so that's state code, and so we don't have the ability to mix and match payments based on years.
Would,
Oh, I guess the bottom line is I got $3,000. I don't want to lose my house.
would
We can
you,
work something out.
would you be willing to, or be able to pay the thing in full if you had a year extension?
I would think so.
Because if you pay that much now, you'll still have
Pay-
that year. It'll
Yeah,
take
if
you
you
off
pay,
the
pay the
tax sale.
3,000 now, and then we'll give you till next tax sale to get everything else corrected.
Which is a year. Okay,
Yeah.
that works.
Okay,
And this is on your primary residence, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, I'd, let me go back into this here.
Because that puts some back on the second subsequent year too, because how much, I can't remember, too many tax things on my mind. How much is the total? Oh,
It was like $5,700 or
that's
something.
what I was gonna say, so,
So you're gonna pay just a little over half.
yeah.
I'd make a motion, we give an extension to Mike Jeebus on his taxes
But you'll pay 3,000
pending, yeah,
and then get the rest of it caught up.
with him paying the 3,000 and then catching the rest up during the year.
Yeah,
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay,
thank you.
We're not as scary
Good
as
luck.
we look, huh?
Huh?
We're not as scary as
Just-
we look, huh?
I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you.
just work with Mr. Thornley back there, our treasurer, and
Okay,
work on that. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 1147, Kristen Barlow. Yeah,
My husband was the coach. So I'm here on behalf of Starstruck Dance and Performing Arts, which is located in Perry. It's been there about 7 years. I've been doing dance and performing arts for 26 years in California, and we moved here about 21 years ago. My home has a dance studio in it. I don't know if you're familiar with that property on Dantwood Drive. Anyway, we purchased that about 21 years ago and had our dance studio there. And then about 7 years ago, we expanded into Perry. So we bought the property that's in question there and expanded. We kept our ballet school in Brigham, and then we opened up for other styles of dance in Perry. Well, the first couple of years were great, but the last few years, about the last 5 years, we've really struggled. We had two people that worked for me under contract. break off and open studios, take big chunks of my students. And then about 2 years ago, well, or maybe it was last year, the Perry City approved a second dance studio to be built right next to mine. So with all of those going together, it's been very tough to pay the property tax. We're just trying to keep our head above water. Another unfortunate thing is the contractor we hired did not follow code. And so we had to pay over $11,000 in improvements to fix what the contractor did. The contractor filed bankruptcy, so I couldn't go after him to get it to be fixed. And so that's also put us way back. So we've just had a bunch of things that we have not been able to stay on top of those taxes. And so what we want to propose is if we could set up a monthly payment plan to get that caught up and have it on a set day of the month, that we can either do an auto pay or just make sure it gets to you or mail it, whatever, to get caught up. Things are turning around. I am applying for a nonprofit. I'm very into, well, with the suicides that have been high in our area, I founded Dance for Life Suicide Prevention this past September, and that is going very well. We are going to expand and be doing a lot of philanthropic things out of that dance studio in Perry. We already have over 150 people in our upcoming production doing free ballet lessons. So we have all these programs for mental health and suicide prevention. So we are hoping the commissioners will support this project that we are doing. We do very good things for the community, and that you will work with us on helping us get caught up on those property taxes.
So how long would the payments be? We're talking like
2.5 years at the current balance, if it was $500 a month.
that's the problem. I just don't think we can go that far out.
Okay, so what would you be willing to do?
That's actually not what we're willing. That's what it's-
Yeah, statute.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Typically, what we've seen is it's 1 year and
Okay.
it becomes an extension.
Okay,
And so basically what it does is it takes somebody off the tax sale list so that a property isn't going to come
Right,
up for a
right.
tax sale. And then they've got that 12 months to bring it current.
make arrangements.
Yeah.
Now, my other question, so the tax sale, is that just an annual? I've never done this in my life, so.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just annually, they do it the same time every year.
Yeah.
And is
yeah.
it usually what, March, April, what?
May.
It's May, it's
Typically.
May, okay.
First or second Saturday
Okay,
in
yeah, so
May.
if I can get that extension, we'll get it all caught up, I'm sure.
So,
Things are already turning around, like we're doing really well, but it's just now, we're just getting caught up, so. So, yeah, if we could get that extension, that would be great.
You guys got any other thoughts?
no, I mean, I looked at the financials and, it looks like you have money coming in. It's just, the expenses and.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
Yeah, because like the rest of us, we also have car washes being built next to us. We also have different things that happen,
Yeah.
in those time frames. So,
yeah, yeah. Things
I-
you can't foresee at times,
yeah,
so.
and I do know that, sometimes we had to pay ourselves a lot less to be able to do the things that we're doing. So sometimes that's the hard pill to swallow. Is that-
Oh, yeah, I haven't had an income in about 2 or 3 years, so
Okay.
I've been basically just trying to pay the overhead.
I'm okay
So-
doing that extension for a year
Okay.
so you can get it right within a year.
Okay, that'd be great.
Oh.
And that was on the Kristen Barlow, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we give you guys a year
Okay.
extension.
So would a year from what time? Would it be a year from now or from the May, or what? What is the date and the schedule for that?
If you didn't do anything, basically you'd be in the same spot you were, except with more money next year, so about the same time.
So about this same time, a year from now, today? Okay.
because, property taxes are technically due, the
End
notices
of
go
the
out and they've
year-
got to be.
November,
By the end of
November,
the
yeah,
year.
yeah.
And so what will happen is if they're not done by then, where it goes on the most recent year.
Right.
It would still trigger it.
Yeah, yeah.
Going back that
Right,
far.
right.
And so you would technically still be on the tax sale list.
right.
And you would get another notice.
Right.
And then it would need to be satisfied,
Okay,
so.
yeah, we'll take care of it. So.
Okay.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Kristen.
Thanks
Good
very
luck.
much.
Okay,
Lauren?
we're 11:57. Okay,
I don't think you need to come up and tell us any more.
they're probably tired of talking to us at this point.
Tired of looking at us.
No, we appreciate you coming down and being here early and going through the details with us. So, you gentlemen have any additional questions or any thoughts?
I just think there's a lot of information, a lot of things that we need to take in for granted about, really, because I mean, if we end up selling the or if they go to tax sales, do we really want the property if nobody buys it?
That's the other
So-
thing. There's other things to consider that were brought up that, yeah, so.
I would like to have a little more time to be able to look at it. So, we don't have to, we're okay till May. I'd actually like to maybe move to table this so we can have another couple, well, our next, it's not even a week.
Yeah, it's next week.
Yeah, our next thing is next week, so at least that gives us another week to take a look at it, make sure we do the right thing. So I'd like to make a
Okay.
motion, we table it until the next.
I'll second that.
So one of the things to consider is, so I have to start advertising, and with that, there's cost. And also, with a parcel like this, I need to do, if it is gonna go to tax sale, I need to start doing title work on it, so we outsource that out. So there's a cost of that, and we tack that on to the owner. So by tabling it,
For a week, and you're gonna advertise everything anyway, right? On other,
saying is, so if you're gonna table it, the potential of that tabling causes some additional costs.
right? Well,
Our tax sale is lined up for May 16th. When do you typically do your first advertisement, and how far in advance do you do title work on properties that may be going up for sale?
You know, as soon as, if I tell people March 31st is your last chance to get it paid before additional fees will be incurred.
Okay.
If I have to take it, I have to do it in title search. They can start working on
okay, well then I'm gonna make a motion that we talk about this in a closed session pending litigation today, and then we can actually go back into our meeting at the end of that and decide whether or not we can,
I
We
don't
wanna
think that
do
would
that.
qualify for pending litigation, would it?
Not sure that it would.
well, I guess if you take a look at how long it would, whether or not we want it, whether or not other people are interested, whether or not these guys will sue
When's the
us
next commission meeting?
I
Well,
guess
next week.
Next week?
it's like, if, for like 3 days, Tom?
Just so
Could
you're,
we-
I mean, it's,
April 3rd?
the ball's rolling, so I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put it on the agenda for next week. That put,
just so you were aware, it's not a whole,
Well, that's what,
sky is falling.
Okay. Well,
Would something be going out to the title companies or advertisements before April 3rd?
I can hold this one back,
I would say.
but yeah, the title company folks, I'll send it out.
Because, I mean, obviously, it's after March 31st by our next meeting. And that's the date that you usually use, so, okay.
I mean, if we could do that, it's just so that we could like meet next Wednesday and then go from there.
okay, so what am I
That'd be
changing my
okay.
motion to?
So what?
I said, what am I changing my motion to? Table first?
No,
Just-
that we'll table it to next week.
Okay.
And I already seconded it, so.
All right.
Okay, any more questions? We have a motion and a second. Okay. All right, have a motion and a second to table this until our meeting on April 3rd. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Everybody? Okay. Very good.
It's up to
You're
you.
welcome to. You're welcome to, but
Such a
I
beautiful drive from Idaho
Yeah.
Falls.
I mean, it's an amazing drive. We've gotten, pretty much the information. We appreciate your due diligence on everything that you've done here, and the maps, and then
There's a lot of info on
everything.
both
The
sides.
owner's statement.
And maybe some history. Like I said, we can talk about some of the history and other things that are happening. And
The only thing that may come up is if we go through this and as we talk, if there are any questions that come up, we would get in contact with you, and your numbers are here on the application, so. Okay,
Okay.
very good.
Okay.
Thanks,
you, guys.
gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks, you guys. This one's next. But
Okay. All right.
Another walker.
I don't see her here, though, do you?
Nope. Let's see.
1212,
1212. Yeah, David Walker, but he's,
right there.
Are you here for Dave?
Good morning, Commissioners.
we had a message
Bartlett.
that it was going to be Dave's wife. I know you. You're not
My
Dave's
name is
wife.
Kelly Driscoll, and I'm representing, thank you very much. I'm representing David Walker in the Historic
his wife.
Downtown Alliances.
Thanks, Kelly.
So today I'm here to request the use of the county parking lot and the county grounds for our farmers market, and also our third Friday night live for the food trucks that will be held third Friday night live. You have the document in front of you requesting our dates. This is about our third season of this, and we're seeing some momentum, and it's been very helpful. We are making some changes this year. We're going to do a time change from the morning market till the afternoon, to starting at 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the market, and then we're also going to go on Friday Night Live. We're going from 5 o'clock till 9 p.m.
Cool. All right.
Everybody was sleeping in.
You know, we're just trying to get more, and hopefully we can by just making that change. There is a lot of farmers markets that are available, and I think that the time change will help bring more people down to our downtown Brigham City, and maybe allow more people to have time to travel to Brigham City from the other outlying areas of the county.
Cody kind of snuck up for the back row, so that must mean he's either really attentive or he
Oh, I
can't
was going to
hear.
ask Cody some questions anyway. I'm assuming that Cody has something to say. This doesn't infringe, or there's no issues with the parking lot and any other uses. We don't have any resurfacing or any more light poles or anything like that.
No, the only issue we have is just the information, so they'll close down our parking lot, and we just need to make sure our employees are aware of it. And other than just convenience, that's really, there's no.
So if this is saying it's starting at 5, what time does the parking lot get closed at? At 5 or before?
We get off at 5, so
Yeah.
everybody leaves, so they just have to use the back, that's, you know.
So that's when they start setting up then. I was wondering if there was an overlap there. Okay.
In the past, we've just been taking the first 4 or 5 stalls here on the southwest corner and using that, and I would imagine it's going to expand a little bit back into about the middle of the parking lot. And I believe it hasn't been an issue for a couple of years.
Yeah, last year they didn't have it in the parking lot, the farmer's market, they had it next door, so where are you gonna have it this year?
I believe that mostly it's just over here in the city plaza.
Oh, the Bill of Rights
From
Plaza?
the Bill of
Okay.
Rights Plaza, and that's through the city. But we are requesting the parking lot, the usage for our food trucks.
Okay.
We only have 110 outlets. They've had concerts and things that they've tripped the breakers, so I'm just letting you know, we only have 110 out there. So it's really not utilized for stereo equipment. And other than that, it's just, you know, a normal Saturday except for when more people.
Okay.
Okay.
No, it's cool. I've been down here, and it's a great event. I think it brings a lot of people into town, and
We're just
cool.
doing our best to bring as many people into
yeah.
our town as possible. And this has been one avenue.
okay.
I'd make a motion we approve the farmer's market use of the parking lot.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks very
Kelly.
much.
Yep.
Thanks for all your
Kelly.
help.
Thanks, Cody. Okay. Monica. I'm sorry. You can't have the parking lot. We just gave it to Mr. Driscoll.
Yeah.
So
Make sure that Peach Days isn't included in there.
that
September
does
6th and 7th.
it is listed on here, not including Peach Days. So
There you go.
you're good.
Yeah. You can't use the plaza either.
So it's September 6th and
I
7th.
think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I should know that date.
You should.
Yes, I was right. September 6th and 7th. So
Okay.
we start setup Thursday evening after 5. We do let our vendors know not to come in till after 5 because the county is open, but this does affect, obviously, the employees on Friday like it has for years. We're not anticipating any changes to what we've done on the county grounds before, so everything's the same.
Okay, so let's see, the 6th, is that a Thursday?
That's the Friday.
That's the
Friday.
Friday. Okay, so
Yep.
5th would
Fifth.
actually,
Yep, it would be
so it'd
that
be Friday
evening.
night the 5th. Okay,
Thursday night, the 5th,
or Thursday night the 5th.
and then Friday, the 6th, and
There we
Saturday, the
go.
7th.
Okay,
The 6th and 7th.
okay.
Yep.
Anything, Mr. Elam?
Yes, I've confirmed Chad Greer will be the electrician.
So that's just getting in that day.
Okay.
If it's if everything's the same as last year, there's no.
Yeah.
We've added some spider box out front to help. We have poor power out front like we talked about.
Yeah.
That might help her facilitate with our Christmas lights, so.
Yep.
We're trying to, it's a
Make it
heavily used, make it a little easier for them.
Yeah, because we do have one speaker out there, and then the hospital plugs in
Okay.
for lights
Last
for the
year,
first
they
aid.
tripped everything and
Yeah, we had, yeah. Yeah.
I'll get the water shut off a little bit better. Last year,
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not laughing.
it was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah, and we haven't even had our first Peach Days committee meeting, but Cody is invited to them, and Joan Hammer also comes from the county.
Okay, very good. Will that power help for other parades, other events? So you'd be able to use that for the
Horse
Golden
parade.
Spike, May 4th?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's only 110 out there, so I actually did a spider box, which has like, I think there's 15 110 outlets on it, so it's able to,
Yeah.
so we didn't trip any Christmas lights this year, that's why it's really helps.
You're not overloading one circuit, you got them branched out. Okay,
Cool.
I actually understood that. Okay, very good.
I was gonna make a motion pending that we don't have to lip sync.
No, you have to lip sync.
That's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hey, does it make you feel any better if I'm lip syncing this year too?
only if we get to choose the song.
No, we've already chosen the song. We haven't practiced yet, but this
right.
year I'm getting way out of
You
the
got
comfort
me.
zone.
She's way better
Marla's
prepared
cracking
than
up
us.
over there.
We-
She's gonna come watch.
Do we get to,
We choose ours the week before.
do we get to volunteer anybody else to?
Again.
You haven't
could
participated,
challenge
yeah,
people.
I missed it.
You could challenge people. I've tried to get the other elected officials from the county to go against you guys, but they're like, no.
We're too good.
It is true. It is true. You guys are really good.
Nobody's willing to cross
Just the
dress.
opposite.
We do have
Anyway.
videos of that for,
So do we.
Yeah.
those
Burned.
that want to relive it.
We get-
Nobody
we
wants
get
to relive that.
We get distracted easily.
Squirrel.
I'll
Okay.
make the motion that we approve the use of the building grounds for Peach Days on the September 6th and 7th.
5th, 6th, and 7th. Right?
5th, 6th, and 7th.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers, a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye. Thanks, Mo.
Thanks, Monica.
Thanks, Monica.
Appreciate all you do for the whole county. Okay, very good. Jan. Finding it hard to kind of believe that we're talking Peach Days and Fair already. So,
And I'm a little nervous because we don't have any bleachers on the east. Shh. Oh. Yeah. I'm
coming.
threatening. I'm
Cody's
giving
got it under
threats out.
control.
So,
We got the kind that you just add water, and all the water's here, so it'll just
Row.
I'm thinking we back,
Chia seeds.
She's gonna stick her tongue out
I'm
at me
thinking we
again.
back trucks up to the fence and charge for prime spots for your pickup tailgate parties at the
Tailgate party.
rodeo.
That's a great idea.
Couple $100.
Sounds like something for the rodeo board.
So, Steve's looked at the carnival contract and he's okay with it. We need to get that signed and get going. We like City of Fun because Peach Days has the same one, so
It
if
helps.
people have leftover tickets from the fair, they can use them here in Brigham City
Awesome.
also, so. Fair's just around the corner.
They've done a great time for a lot of years.
Same kind of contract and everything then. Okay.
And this allows for the pre-sale by you guys? Okay,
I'll make a motion.
that's cool. A lot of people like that.
I thought I'd wait till the motion was.
For more room, for you guys to think about on the track. They could put an additional 3 or 4 rides there if they had
That's right.
I thought we were going to do the canal float this year.
If we keep up the way we're going, it will be. But that's something you can make a little more. I just want you, and I know it's equivocal, but if we have more room, we
Corey's going to be done. We can push him to the west.
Is it,
Yeah.
in
so it's
order to
back
do
you,
that though,
Cody.
you would literally have to take down the railing and it would actually go onto the track.
So why can't we just go west?
he doesn't want to go west. He
Well-
wants to stay where the heart is of the people, and that's where that track is. We can go out further where the track is. He wants to stay where the food is, and we could go west, but he's, again,
Tell him to try to go west this year, and then maybe we'll make up our mind.
sheriff's set up to
Don't give me excuses, Cody.
telling you, I know, we can take the track down, we could,
If we go west, it cuts into the parking.
Hey,
So then we have to go out around. It would, and our parking is chaos.
it's already
as it
chaos
is.
anyway.
this, after this fair with the new bleachers over there, it's even gonna be,
Right.
just for
Something to consider. Yeah.
Already make a motion so I can sign
Well,
I was going to make a motion.
my suggestion would be to take that up with the fair board
Hey, don't
and the
pass the
folks at the
buck.
rodeo
Yeah.
and see what their thoughts are, because from what little I know, the track doesn't get used much other than a little bit of practice
Most of the
for,
time when it gets used, it's when we have events there. They'll use it for a warm-up.
right.
keep that. We wouldn't tear that portion.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if there's a workaround, maybe it served its useful purpose.
Don't look at me.
Yeah.
So we're good
Something
on
to
the
consider.
Talk to
We're
the
good
fair
on
Go west,
City
young
of
man, go
Fun.
west.
Yes, I would make a motion that we approve the City of Fun Carnival contract for the fair.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jan.
Jan.
Thanks, Steve.
I thought I'd better wait.
Thanks, Cody.
Thought I'd better wait till you make the motion.
We
Thanks,
might
Jan.
have some more questions for you,
Hey,
Cody.
Cody, you might want to stay here. I don't know what for, just might want to stay.
Keep him here. There you go, Mark.
Mark. Good. Fairgrounds is a happening place.
It's a happening place.
Good thing.
I actually have to apologize publicly to the school district. I got this request, actually come into the sheriff's office and to Jan, early last month, but between schedule, I'm running out of town and movement of a commission meeting.
Sorry.
We're a little bit late getting here. So we received a request from Tard Barrow, the assistant principal for the Harris Intermediate School. They're adjacent to the fairgrounds. They're wanting to do an exercise here this spring before school's out and want to be able to use and gain access to the Home Arts Building there as a evacuation center for that school if they had to evacuate. And then they're going to practice the reunification, which is another huge piece of that process, because you can't just have, folks just showing up there. So we'll actually probably, I'm going to recommend to them utilizing even the museum building so the parents can check in the museum building and there's a controlled method, for getting kids together. Well, obviously, it's not just for the exercise, that would probably become part of their disaster plan. They've requested maybe even a key to the Home Arts Building as a place to put kids into, realizing that probably more times than not, if something would happen during school hours, we'd probably have county staff there. However, lunch times or this or that or the other might make them hard to find. So we would just need to approve getting a
We
key
just
as well.
need to
So
do an MOU or
yeah,
whatever. with
we
the-
could come up with a written agreement.
We do have one with the hospital, right, Jen? Don't the hospital have a key fob? I thought they had one.
Brigham City Rec does.
Oh,
I know that Mark has one for,
Tremont.
or Tremont and City Rec. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Mark will just park there on the east side and unload, and so that works out well for them. From a legal standpoint, would we have to have some sort of a contract or a memorandum in place with the school district? And I don't know if that would go through Corey Thompson, he's our physical facilities guy, or if it would just go through the principal at the affected school.
I don't know, that's a good question.
Because, I mean, you are giving somebody access to a county facility if you give them a key.
In emergencies only.
it would be, it's gonna be a little more work, probably smart to have some sort of a
Right.
memorandum so that you know
What's expected?
what's expected, when they can go in, when they can't go in, that kind of stuff, so that that's very well defined.
My only concern, strictly from a county standpoint, is our liability if there's an emergency over there, they get the kids over there, something happens on the property, once the kids are over there and they're being supervised by school district staff or school staff, we wouldn't want that liability to fall on us because we have no control over the kids or what's going on. So that would be my only concern. So I think if we had, you know, just some sort of memorandum or something in place so that everybody knew what was
Johnny knew
expected.
about it on our liability purposes, that if this happened, something would kick in.
And I can put that together if you'd like.
Okay.
If you'll just send me something, basically what your understanding is, you know.
Draft verbiage or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Okay.
what you expect from them and what they expect from us, and then
Okay.
put something together.
That would be great because I know that, you know, there's other locations around town and they might be churches that are adjacent to a school. And so they've got something set up there.
Yeah.
So,
Ours is the closest building for them, but.
yeah.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm gonna give them a verbal go-ahead that they can start planning that between now and the end of the school year. We'll work together, get the MOU done, and get it back before you can get it signed.
Okay.
Okay.
The only other thing that could potentially conflict, and we really have no control over this, is if there's some sort of a major event there.
Sure.
Then we just have to stick them in one of the museum
Sure.
buildings or
Yeah,
something, and
it's, you know, it's, yeah,
there's room.
have to be flexible.
I mean, if it's a major disaster, I mean, they can go into the indoor arena. I mean, any place is going to be better
Well, I
than.
think you should put that down,
Yeah, yeah. build
facilitate whatever
flexibility.
buildings. Yeah.
Yeah. no
Okay.
problem.
Cool. Thanks,
And
Mark.
also, just FYI, put on your calendar, we have identified September 27th and 28th to be our next Emergency Preparedness Expo at the fairgrounds. So
Okay.
Cool.
we've got our committee started on that.
That's been great.
That was awesome.
So,
There were a lot of people that came last year. We went up there and got some good ideas and picked up some essentials.
Yeah.
So
well, we got rained out a little bit. It wasn't as big as that first year.
Right.
but
Yeah.
First year was
hopefully
amazing.
the
Last
weather
year was a little rainy.
So anyway,
Okay.
good stuff.
thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Good to see you without a cane too.
You're moving a little better, huh?
The transitions are not fun.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get moving, we're good.
Okay. All right, what do we got next, Mr. Hadfield?
Oh, we have
Mark.
weed control. Oops,
All right.
back up.
That's you, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
I thought you were asleep with your eyes open.
Yeah, our other Mark,
It's not letting me.
Mr. Anderson.
Sorry, it says Bill on there, but we're going with you first.
Okay. Mark Anderson, Fox Hollow County Weed Department. And of course, you know Bill Gilson, Road Department.
We've heard of him.
I put together and proposed a county weed management plan, and I believe you've received that email. And basically, what that is stating is just state statute, state codes, and the policy. It lists the weeds, the noxious weeds on the state list. It lists our coordination meetings and the things that we need to follow as per state law. Our priorities, our categories, weed control service areas, public relations, education, mapping, monitoring, yada, on and on, authority and enforcement. The one that I would like to draw your attention to is the weed control service area, which that's the only thing basically that has changed within this policy. And what we have stated is that, and I will just read that a little bit, if that's all right. In case of weed control adjacent to organic farms, the county shall actively spray up to the property boundaries to include all county road right-of-ways and easements. The responsibility to provide a no-spray buffer remains with the property owner. The reason we do that, or we need to put that in place, is because there's been verbal agreement between my predecessors that if they put up their signs, we won't spray the road. The problem is it's not their roads, they're not taking care of the weeds and the vegetation on the roadside in front of their, adjacent to their organic properties. And hence deteriorating roads, which causes the road department to do excessive work and.
Well, and then we mow those weeds that haven't been done, and we spread the weeds everywhere. It's a perpetual,
Right.
yeah.
Seeds, so we would like to just establish that we will be spraying to our right-of-way, their property boundary. It is their responsibility to make their buffer from their boundary.
So if their organic contract requires a 20-foot, a 50-foot buffer, whatever it is, that needs to be on their side of the fence up to where they're actually growing organic. It's not going to be the borrow pit or the right-of-way anymore.
Correct. We've actually went out and discussed this new policy and management plan with not only the county weed board, but also the Northern Utah Soil Conservation District. And we have a recommendation from both boards that we should go forward with this new management plan and imply this because of the additional cost the public taxpayer is incurring from, allowing, not spraying our roadsides. So it's growing weeds in closer. We're not able to grab that gravel out on the edges and recoup that old gravel and bring it into the crown. There's more weeds and stuff that we have to contend with, and many times we've had to go out and do more mowing in those areas because we weren't able to do a cheaper practice of spraying the broadleaves and so forth. So both boards have agreed with us that we ought to take in our plan like we have, like Cache County's done, and incurred this and required them, if they don't want spray on it, or this implied that they put the buffer on their property. And it will have a slight impact to maybe 3 or 4 of our growers out west, but we think in the long haul, this is going to be better for the county and save the taxpayer money.
Okay.
Is there any kind of communication that will go out in advance?
We are going to contact them personally and talk with them.
Because I know at least 1 or 2 of them I'll be hearing from shortly,
You
so.
probably will, but we're
Okay.
going to try to meet with them individually and discuss why we made this decision. And
No, that's
try
awesome.
To give a little reinforcement to it.
No, we appreciate it because I think it's a good idea, but if they don't know about it in advance and then all of a sudden their organic doesn't test organic, then it gets pretty ugly. And so if there's that notification that goes out first, I think you've
And
been
we actually had a
good
discussion
neighbors.
with one of them recently on this new protocol. He is a representative down at the state legislature. And he said, if you guys got to do what you got to do, we're going to be good to work with you.
Boy, that narrows it right down, doesn't it?
That does.
Okay.
That was my only thought, especially if it's been different in the past. It's going to be a change for them. And I think if you can document that you've talked to everybody before somebody comes and makes a claim, that's going to go a long way.
And I still think
Okay.
on those days when you're going past their places, if it's a windy day and stuff, maybe still come back and, have a little bit of common sense when it's, you know what I mean? So,
Definitely, I think Mark would definitely probably have a good discussion with some of our applicators and make sure if there is some windy days or some avenues of drift, we do not want to go outside of our right of way.
especially with those organic guys, because that's a
Yeah.
lot of money.
I'm sure they're going to appreciate you working with them.
Yep.
The premium they get on that is more than the crop price in most cases these
Exactly.
days. So, okay. Very good. Thanks, gentlemen. Let's see.
Make a motion on that.
Yeah. Make a motion that we approve the Reed Board proposed weed control policy. Has it got a number? No number?
I don't think we've decided.
Not as a policy.
Okay, all right.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Bill?
So within the new,
Oh,
here you go.
He's got one.
we've got
He's
him.
got one.
He's
Steve's
one.
got his on the screen. He's
You sent it to me, I think I got it Friday.
Yeah, correct. This is a new proposed interdepartment policy for the road and weed department as far as accident review. We would like to consider for our 2 departments that we'd be able to convene a department review board, which would consist, and this would ultimately go to the risk management group for final decision, but we'd actually take a quick look at it in the department. And the committee would consist of myself, the department manager, the operations supervisor, the foreman who was over that work process that day, and then also an individual from our risk management committee group would sit in on it and take a look whether it was a preventable, non-preventable accident, and go through it and kind of give the department's take on it. Because and sometimes we do have some incidents where somebody might have something damaged on a county piece of equipment that might be considered part of, snow plowing, wear and tear, that's normal practice, whether it's the county or the state, that we definitely would want to get more input and give the department more time to look it over and take a recommendation forward to the risk management group to make final decision. And that's pretty much the nuts and bolts.
Have you been doing this before?
We had convened once, but we just want to make sure that it is adopted by the commission as a department policy that we can conduct and go forward with.
Do you have any questions from a legal
I
standpoint?
do have a couple,
or-
and I don't think anybody has an answer. It talks about review action that cause injury. The question is, how serious of an injury? Are we talking about a cut on the finger? Are we talking about a broken fingernail? I'm being facetious a little bit. Or are we talking,
Lost time accident.
yeah, what defines an injury? And it says or damage, and what defines damage? That's the age-old question we've had in Action Review Board.
Exactly.
When do you review one of these? How much damage does there have to be? Is it $500? Is it $25? That's going to be a question, because inevitably some accident's going to happen, and they're going to say, well, you didn't review his, but now you're reviewing mine. What's the difference?
And what's the difference between this and what we do anyway?
This basically allows Bill's department to look at an accident and give a recommendation, give some input because they are more used to the commercial vehicles and running big trucks and things than the Accident Review Board.
Correct.
Give some insight from them before the Accident Review Board gets it. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it could be.
The more information you can get out there involved, I think the better decision you can make in that regard.
But that's the question is, where do you set your
Parameter?
And I don't know if there is an answer to that.
What's the parameters on the other one that we do?
There isn't.
There isn't. I think we've a little bit, as far as department managers, have made a bit of a decision. If it's
Right.
something like a scratch on the finger, do we, document it out to the hill? But I think if it's something that we have to fill out a workman's comp form and maybe there's been treatment for, we definitely want to discuss it in our department review board and take it forward.
So I don't think there's an answer. That's just something to be aware of. I think at one time, and I can't remember, Jenna could remember, we used to have it was a dollar value, a damage or something.
Anything?
Yeah.
And I would just say it would follow the regular county policy
Okay.
as far as what should be reviewed.
And then there's just a few more I can get with Bill, a few more minor. I think it needs to be clear that the recommendation is non-binding. It's a non-binding recommendation, so that they don't feel like, hey, we decided something different than the Action Review Board, because the Action Review Board should have the ultimate final
That's what
say.
I was wondering.
Correct.
But I can get those to Bill.
Would you have anybody serving on both?
I think one of
One of
the
them.
members is a risk management group representative. Is that what the intent of that was?
Yeah, so actually, 3 of these individuals possibly will be serving on the risk management group also. So there's myself, our operations supervisor, Gordy, and the other representative would be, this time around, it's probably going to be Cody, will be sitting in on our interdepartment board.
That's the only reason I ask. I mean, if it's basically the exact same group.
That's what I'm wondering about. Why are we doing 2?
It gives it time to bring in witnesses. That's one thing that isn't spelled out, that we actually are going to bring in some witnesses
You should
who've
spell it
seen
out then.
and save the time from bringing in all the witnesses in front of the risk
I think
management
it's in
committee
5.
group.
I think it's in 5.
It is in the bottom of the
Right.
body where we do have the avenue to bring in witnesses and get more information into the recommendation. That saves time at the risk management committee group of having to do that also.
I know quite often in Action Review Board, there'll be a question, how tough is it back when these big rigs up? And if they run into something, how tough is that? And people on the board don't really know because they don't deal with that. So this kind of helps them.
I'll make a motion that we approve the road and weed department accident review policy pending Steve's review of working with Bill.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Here's a bid tab if you guys want to look at. Most recently, we went out to bid for a new grader for the road department. One of the avenues that we took a look at is we tried to set a spec on this road grader and put it out there to the main manufacturers who produce an all-wheel drive grader, which means all 6 wheels can turn for facilitating snow plowing in the wintertime. And pretty much the 2 that only have 6-wheel drive or have that option is John Deere, which is Honda Manufacturing, and Wheeler Machinery, which is CAT. The bids that we opened up 2 weeks ago in public meeting was the CAT Wheeler product, which was a 140M. I don't have the exact other details on that, but it was $351,800. Their guaranteed buyback in 3 years was $252,000. And the cost to extend the warranty out to 7 years on that machine, if we would like at that point, was $25,793.60. The next bid was Honan equipment for a John Deere 772 GP. They came in at $332,775. And their guaranteed buyback was $260,000. And the cost to go extend out to a 7-year extended warranty on the powertrain and hydraulics was $23,830. There was also, I took a similar bid off of Empire Southwest, which was a 140M cat grader at $423,000, which was $293, which was a internet bid. So the cost savings between the Caterpillar through John Deere through Honan versus the Cat 140M is $19,025. One other thing that we take a look at, because these 2 pieces of equipment are so similar in many ways but different in others, because the spec list that I came up with, Wheeler was able to meet all of the qualifications on the specifications of the machine. Honan equipment did fall short on I believe 3 or 4 of the conditions. That is a lower horsepower machine, so it is not a 9.3 liter, it is a 9 liter. They did not offer, I believe, 2 of the technology that we'd like to see on it. There was a stable grade option that when the grader gets grading, sometimes the guys have a tendency, if they get going a little fast, trying to get a little more productive, that it will start to get into like a wheel hop, like a rolling wheel hop that they have to slow down and get out of. The CAT actually has the technology in it that will sense this motion and take them out of it without slowing down to that degree. The CAT also had an option that we asked for as in grade control, so the technology to keep your grade set not only in 2D for cross slope, so if you want a 3% crown, 4% crown, but it also has the option for 3D grade control on it, so it looks at both avenues, where the John Deere only has cross slope control. It does not have in that regard. We took the time to take a look at what's the availability for parts. If we get broke down, what are we looking at for time? I sent some of this information out, but you could see that the CAT parts were a little bit higher, but definitely had better availability. They could get you going within the next day kind of option. We actually demoed both machines, took them out and let our people drive them out on site and try some of these options. And some of the input that we got back, our operations supervisor came back, the majority of them, like the visibility of the CAT machine, a heck of a lot better. It was more comfortable to run. They could see their blade, they could react to it and feel like the productivity of it would be a little bit better in that regard. Besides that, we've taken a look at it, and it's almost even between the machines when you take a look at the options for grade control and the other options that Honan wasn't able to provide on their machine. I think that definitely takes up that $19,000 difference between the two. Talking with my operations supervisor, I think him and myself think that the CAT machine will probably be more productive for the county in years to come and be a better valued piece of machinery. It's a tough decision, really tough in this regard, but we would like to give a recommendation to go with the cat.
How long have you kept your last one that was a cat?
We still have all three, well, we still have all three of our cat machines in service right now.
Then you're going to sell one of the other ones? Or are you gonna keep
No,
four?
we're actually thinking about keeping it in-house and allowing our employee out in Grouse Creek and Yost, our extra equipment operator, to get a better machine, and we'll take the grader he's using currently to the landfill, back to the landfill.
Okay.
Hey, Bill,
Just rotate.
what's the reasoning behind the John Deere having a higher buyback, even though it's a smaller machine, do you know? I'm just curious.
That is, and usually that is not the trend that we've seen in other bid packets, that usually the cat, and I could say for myself, if you looked at two machines between a John Deere and a cat that were 4 years old at this point right now, the cat would have a higher resale value on Machinery Trader than the John Deere.
And we're not really worried about that because we're going to keep it anyway, so.
Yeah, I was just curious. It just
Yeah, I
looked
know.
kind of funny.
Yeah, I saw that same thing. I mean, it's $19,000 less on the sticker, but the buyback, the guarantee is $8,000 higher.
more than the other, correct.
So,
It is a tough decision. I know our vendor will be a little upset, but
What'd your mechanics say?
They definitely like the option with the cat, that it has good serviceability with the filters on the back,
That's what I was wondering.
that it has, and they both have really good serviceability in that regard, but it definitely, there is a dollar value that we're not getting for them other options with the grade control, the stable grade option technology that's in it, and you take a look at those 2 or 3 other options that they can't provide into their machine, then that is the difference between it. When you're trying to compare apples to apples, we're not quite there. We wanted to get a very competitive bid that I think if they came in substantially lower, that it's something that I think we'd want to entertain, but both of my people and our people believe that the cat's probably going to be the better machine for us down the line for that extra $19,000 upfront purchase.
how many pieces of dairy equipment do you have?
We have, I do believe, 6 or 7.
Okay.
We have 3 graders going right now that's in service, being used from Park Valley, Grouse Creek area, and out further.
Okay. I was just going to say, if there was no dairy equipment at all, it'd make even more sense for the compatibility.
We have a track hoe, we have a loader, and I think we rent a few backhoes also. So we definitely, when you look at the heavy equipment throughout our fleet, it's either Caterpillar or John Deere in many regards. And you talk to a lot of people in the industry, they're very comparable. And when you're trying to get a competitive bid, it's about the 2 best to go with.
Okay. Had a couple people reach out to me that run them and say that, they were comparable-ish, but when it come time to actually think about, this is the first one you'll have with an all-wheel drive, right?
No, we have others with all-wheel drive.
With all 6-wheel?
Yeah, all of our fleet except one grader has all-wheel drive.
Okay. But he's been here for 40 years, and he just said it was amazing to him how much more the cat was more responsive for the things that he'd been doing for 40 years, so.
Okay.
Sometimes always the cheapest isn't the best, but. And where we're not really worried about the guaranteed buyback, right?
Correct. And it's always there. If my option has always been, if you get a lemon and you're having a lot of downtime, you're having a lot of issues, we do have that option.
Good.
But if it's been a good machine, usually we're better off to keep it and keep on running it in many regards than exercising the buyback.
Yeah, well, with the preventative maintenance program that you guys do and keep things in good shape, so. Okay. Any questions?
No, like I said, I sit there and watch the guys go back and forth all the time, and I still think the cat's the better way to go, even though it's more expensive, so that's just my opinion.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion, we award the bid to Cat or Wheeler.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye. Thanks, Bill.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Bill.
Jenica.
Did you bring your other things too?
Yeah, I'll give them to you when I'm done. So I just have one quick item today on the regular agenda. We have an employee who's requested to receive the second half of his HSA funding early due to some medical issues that his family's dealing with. So I'm just here to receive approval to pay that.
I'd make a motion that we approve the HSA early contribution to such employee.
Second.
Okay, I've always got a question. This is, normally they go out in January and June,
Yes. So
Okay.
it's his early June payment.
and then there's always the stipulation in there that
Mm-hmm.
if it's not within 12 months. Okay, I'd just like to have that on the record. Okay, very good. Have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
Okay.
Will you just sign that?
You
for
bet.
me?
Did you get my message? Did you get my message? So do you want to ask her if you...
Doesn't matter where, there's not a formal line on this, just anywhere? Okay.
And then I'm going to do his Wednesday. Let me know about the other one.
Thanks, Jenica.
Corey? Usually I'm a little.
Hi,
Howdy.
Corey Barton, Fire Marshal. First thing I have is a residential fire suppression grant system request. The request is for $3,750 to a Brady White. Here's the packet. It's got all the bids. It's got the W-4. It's got the invoice, everything else in it.
Is this the
complete.
last one?
Actually, no. Believe it or not, I've had a couple people that would have had to put in a hydrant in and have chosen to go with the fire suppression system still.
Oh.
And the hydrant would have only served them, and they want something that will actually do something for them.
Oh.
So I don't think it'll be the last one you'll see.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that we would go through the handful that were in the pipeline and.
No, there's a lot of people seeing the value in these types of systems in their home because they'll actually
Save on homeowners insurance.
quick
as
react
well.
and save on home insurance and everything else. So
I'll make a motion, we approve the residential fire suppression grant.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
okay, here it is right here. It'll just need a signature on it, and that'll be done.
Thanks, Corey.
And then the other thing we have is suspension of the clearing index portion of the ordinance. Right now, with the unusual weather patterns that we're getting, we're having quite an impact on the ditch companies and on the
Farmers.
orchard growers. They've got to get their piles cleared up before they start to blossom out. That impacts the bees, the smoke, and everything else. So we are still within state code and everything else. We're just asking, and then I want to work with Steve and put an addendum to the ordinance that allows this under certain circumstances. Don't ever recommend it in the fall with the stubble burnings. We've already had one complaint already from smoke from a orchard grower, but not from the orchard grower, but the fire from it. But there's a lot less burning, and it's typically cleaner burning in the springtime. So we have had, there's so much fuel out there right now that if we wait till it gets any drier to burn some of these ditches and that, it's going to be devastating. We had one vacant home last week burnt down from a farmer burning a ditch, and it just took off so fast and got away from him with the wind shift that it burned the neighbor's house down. So we want to make sure they can get this done before conditions get really bad this year, because I don't know if you've noticed, there's a lot of water and we're going to have a lot of fuels to burn up.
I'll make a motion that we work with Steve and you guys on the clearing index and suspend the burn ordinance for agriculture only for March and April.
Not the full burn ordinance, just the clearing index.
Yeah. Okay.
Second.
We getting a thumbs up from Steve over here?
He's just laughing.
I don't know enough about the clearing index or where it comes from. I can talk to Corey about that. I don't know.
It's the state, but
He's smarter than I am on that.
we can
so-
actually.
Yeah, the clearing index comes from the state.
Is it statutorily imposed? I mean, do we?
No, it is not. Not for agricultural, it is not, but 25 years ago, the county commission did put it in for agricultural burning because of our high demand of, or our high concentration of urban with huge amounts of agricultural surrounding it. The biggest problem we have with it is in the fall with the stubble fields. You guys all had phones ringing off the hook last fall, and that's even following the clearing index during the stubble field burning. So, and that's why we're looking at trying to work something out in the springtime where it's critical.
So are we doing a new ordinance or just a temporary ordinance, or what is it?
Just
we're
in
doing?
addition to
Just in addition?
Yeah, we'll do in addition to it.
an amendment.
We're amending the existing ordinance.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got a motion. It's made by you, Commish.
I thought did I?
Yeah, he made the.
I made the motion.
I made the second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Corey.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
Oh, you signed up?
Yep.
Great, thank you.
I'm quick. Okay.
Scott.
1246 is gone. So you just have one item.
Two.
Oh,
44
two.
and 48.
Okay. Missed the highlighted one.
First item is the
Thanks,
Daddy's
Mark.
Acres subdivision. This is a 2-lot subdivision located at 16,444 north and 6,000 west. Lot 1 has an existing home on it, and Lot 2 is going to be a buildable lot. The Lot 1's 1.33 acres, Lot 2 is 0.5 acres, so half acre. It's been through all the review from various county staff, and it comes with a recommendation of approval.
You have any questions on it?
I'm good.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Daddy Acres subdivision.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and the second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item is a request for disbursement from the Corridor Preservation Fund. This one is from Portage Town. It is for $37,124.56. This is their first step in a large maintenance project on Portage Lane and on 8800 West there in Portage. So this will be basically for the pipe they're replacing and improving the.
Are we doing this for them?
What's that?
Or is the county doing this for them?
I know Bill's been assisting them with it.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Bill submitted the request to me on
Mhm.
behalf of Portage Town, and yeah. So as soon as we have the invoice from the pipe supplier, then this can be sent out.
Okay. I'd make a motion that we approve the Corridor Preservation Fund, Portage Lane.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want to sign these?
You bet. Okay.
Want to sign that one too?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm next. You want me to start now? There, Chair.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
We just need to appoint a new person to the Tourism Tax Advisory Board, and the person we are going to do is Lynette Crockett. She's with Crystal Inn to fill in lodging position.
You said she's filling whose position?
Lynette, just the lodging position that's open up.
Lynette, what?
Crockett.
Crockett?
Yep.
And I'm trying to remember, she Hampton Inn?
Crystal Inn.
Crystal.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we appoint Lynette Crockett to the Tourism Tax Advisory Board.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye. Wants to do it again? Yeah. While we were back in DC, it's come to our attention that we're going to try to put a letter of support for the new Secretary of Interior. We had a chance to talk with his deputy chief, and through everything we've seen, we'd like to put a letter of support, recognition for Barnhart, Secretary Barnhart, or soon to be Secretary Barnhart.
Yeah, they had mentioned that that would be helpful
Yeah.
if we did that, so do we need a motion for that, or we just need to sign it?
We need a motion.
Okay, make a motion that we sign a letter of support for the appointment of Barnhart to Department of Interior.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And then we just need to email or fax that back to either Tim or John.
Looks like you're the one that needs to sign it, so.
Sorry, I haven't signed them yet.
Oh, that's for Chris.
Tim would
Yeah.
probably be the best. Mr. Williams would
I'll
be
give
able
him
to
to both
push
of
that
them.
through.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
How many of these did you do?
What is that?
How many letters of support?
We just have the one. How many do you need?
What's that? I couldn't hear.
Were they going to
Were they going to
strictly the Senate, or were they going to our
House
House folks?
representatives, and then plus one for the DOI. So I need another one to Tim Stewart, I guess.
How many more?
Chris Stewart?
You
No,
wanna go
Tim.
for some more? 2 more? 3 more?
Well, it says this one's to Mike Lee. You've got one to,
Well, that one's addressed to both members of the Senate.
oh, okay.
So we'd better to have 2 at least for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. So,
Probably 2 more.
addressed to,
Yeah, we need to do one for Rob Bishop. And then just one to Tim Stewart,
is it Tim Williams?
Tim Williams, sorry. Chris Stewart. Well, we met with his little brother, so, which is Tim Stewart, Tim Williams.
Is Tim the lobbyist back there?
Yes,
He's a sharp guy.
yes,
Did you get to see Tim Williams while he's back there?
yes. We walked him to the White House.
Another sharp guy.
Yep.
Here's the warrant register too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. See, so we just have the warrant register, and then we've got a closed session. Okay. Do you have anything for a closed session, Steve? Really?
Yeah.
Good. Congratulations.
Give him a new office and
That's right. It solves a lot of problems, doesn't it?
I still need to come over and take a tour.
does that mean we should have our own
So-
office and then take?
If you're not going to have a closed session, does that mean no tour, or
Hey, he said he's got 2 extra offices.
not for us?
I was gonna say, he doesn't, He doesn't want us over there. He doesn't want us over there.
We'd never be there
Then
anyway.
we never get anything done if you guys are over there.
We've talked about down there on West Forest, just picnic table and a couple of folding chairs, and we're good to go.
Yeah, that would work.
No phones. Joan, we're just going to a closed session, so we should be quick.
Okay. Okay, you pretty good at one? Pretty close. Okay.
I think that's it.
We already signed everything else, didn't we?
Yep. Personnel? Oh,
Oh, a twofer.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we go into a closed session to discuss personnel and pending litigation.
Second.
motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by